Assalamu alaikum brothers, hope you are fine.
Assalamu alaikum, brother Ali.
Yeah, I welcome here Mr. Hussain, an Spanic American, and he is our guest, and I will be the interviewer. So I want to make a little clip about his life changing and his basic history about, and he will introduce himself. So basically, we are here in Jamaat in Los Angeles and the city and Cypress, the part of California, such a nice city. And we are here in Al Bruj Academy. So our tashkil is from Englewood Masjid, and we are here for 3 days. So this is the last days. So Alhamdulillah, I have learned a lot from this person, and he has a lot of knowledge. He almost visited more than 5 countries in the path of Allah, and so that's why I love to share his views in front of you. So I have a first question, brother.
Yes, brother.
Mashallah, I listen about you and I heard about you so many things. So, brother, can you please introduce yourself, and then I have a little
Okay.
more.
My name is Hussain Abdul Wahab. I actually embraced Islam in 1986, over more than 30 years ago, when I was 21 years old. Now I'm, mashallah, I'm 56 years old now.
That's great. So basically, he's converted, and we are very grateful that Allah gave him hidayah, and now he's in the right path. Brother, what is the turning point that's forced you, or that make your intention to convert in Islam?
Well,
What were you doing at that day?
What
What was the day, and what were you doing, and how you?
I think it was not really per se just one particular day. I think it was like a build up over a period of time.
Okay.
Because actually what made me actually convert, or made me change my way of thinking from, the ways of past, very, jahiliyyah ways, we could say it this way. But what made me change my thinking towards being a better person was my future wife I married. It was basically my girlfriend. She was my college sweet. We went to college together. She was a college cheerleader. And so we were dating, we started dating. And then we became very serious. So we decided if we were going to get married, and plus her family was pushing us towards marriage, not just dating, but okay, if you're going to date, what's going to come next?
Okay.
Is it marriage or what, So then we started thinking about marriage. So then I said, well, if I'm going to get married, I have to be a good husband, right?
Yeah.
And a good father. If we have kids, be a good father. So that means at that time, the way I was living was not a good way of life. So I said, now, if I'm going to marry this girl, I have to change my way of life, change everything.
Who was she? She was Muslim?
No, she was a Muslim. She was, her name was Sandra. She was a Mexican girl that I met after graduate high school. I met her at a dance. We were at a dance, and we met and started dating after that. But we became serious. And so, so then I started thinking, well, man, I need to change my life if I'm going to be a good husband and father, right? So then I started asking, the next question was, well, how should I live? How should I live my life? What way of life should I follow? Should I just keep on doing what I'm doing? Which I knew that wasn't good, so no, that's not right. So the question in my mind was like, okay, how should I live my life? Which direction should I go? Because of course I was raised Catholic, but we as Mexican Catholics, we really didn't practice no faith.
Okay.
We maybe when we went to church when we were young. Then as we get older, just did whatever we want to do. No religious life, Even though we say we're Catholics, but there's no godly life or no religious life, nothing like this. So then I said, well, and I did believe in God, but I never really believed in the church or the Catholicism. It never held on to me. It never stuck with me. So then I asked myself, okay, if God exists, there has to be a way of life for us to follow.
Way of life.
This is what I was thinking before. Before I became Muslim, I said, if God exists,
So
there has to be a way of life for the man to go.
That is the turning point.
That's the turning point. But thinking about it, and because of this girl, she made me started making me change my thinking, And so then that was the changing point, I would say, yeah.
Okay.
And then I said, but then another question I asked myself, if God doesn't exist, then we have to just do whatever we want to do. But I did believe in God. And then during that time, I also wanted to practice Kung Fu, martial arts, I love to fight, you know, and train.
So there is a turning point. Actually, he think about that. If we sent here, so there is a purpose of life. So he find the way of life, and then he, Alhamdulillah, converted to Islam, and now is how brother? How many countries you visited, and when you leave your home first time in the path of Allah?
Okay, but before that, I just want to let you know, my kung fu teacher, he was Muslim.
Oh.
So when I joined I joined his class, I didn't know he was Muslim, but I saw the way he dressed and the way when he prayed and the way he ate and the way everything, and I knew this was a different way of life than American way of life, right? He had a nice beard, he wore kufi like this, right?
Yeah.
And he would train in kung fu, and I'm like, man, this guy is a different way of life. It's not like American way of life. And then I started asking him, why do you dress like this? Why do you have beard? You know, and he gave me full dawah, full invitation to Islam. Then I realized, it came to me and said, maybe this is the way
How
of life.
old are you at that time?
At that time when I met him, I was 18 years old. Then I studied with Islam with him for 3 years.
3 years.
Yes. And then he was also involved with Tabligh Jamaat. So he traveled all over the world too.
And when you leave your home first time in the path of Allah?
I didn't go in, the first time I left, I went to Hajj.
Oh, you went to
First place I ever left to was to Hajj. I went to Hajj in 1990.
And when you came in Pakistan?
When I came to Pakistan, in 1994.
Okay, he had a good time in Pakistan, and how many months you spent over there?
And I spent
what do you think? What do you find over there? What's the specialty of Pakistan?
Mashallah, Pakistan was.
How's the people?
Beautiful, but I mean, it was like I wouldn't say it's not like America, of course, you know, and it has different way. You know, it's more. I would say it was more rough than America, but me myself, I like that kind of thing. You know, I like it's like camping or going hiking. You know, you know, I like that type of stuff.
And traditional dress and traditional foods.
Yeah, but the thing is, they taught me about Islam there. I learned. That's where I learned how to pray the correct way, the right way. You know, I learned my salat. I learned du'as for traveling, du'as for everything. The brothers there, alhamdulillah, beautiful, but they taught me a lot about Islam. And that, going to Pakistan was a life-changing experience, man.
Life-changing experience.
Oh, my iman, mashallah, made my iman very strong.
So how many countries you visited in the path of Allah?
Let me think. Okay, I'll try to name them off. The first country I went to was Sudan. I spent 3 months in Sudan in Jamaat. After Sudan, I went to Malaysia.
Okay.
And I did 50 days in Jamaat. Then after Malaysia, I went to Pakistan for 4 months. Then some years later, I went to India for 40 days. Then I went to Malaysia. I spent 3 in Malaysia, 3 times in Malaysia. I spent time in 10 days in Thailand. I spent 30 days in Indonesia, right? And then I traveled to Fiji, but for marriage, not for. But when I was there, I met brothers there and stuff. And then Then I spent some time in France and England, and I spent.
Wonderful. Almost you visited a lot of country. And now, what about your family background? Who is Muslim in your family?
I'm the only Muslim in my family right now. My family are all basically.
Your kids and your...
No. My wife, of course, is Muslim, and my children are Muslim. But as far as my sisters, they're Christian. And my outside family, they're all Christian. Or a lot of them, they don't. There's no belief. They're just living a normal life.
Okay.
You know.
And you are trying your level best to.
What's that?
You are trying your level best for Tabligh and.
Yes.
Do you think one day they will, inshallah?
Inshallah, I'm making dua that my sisters become Muslim and they change their life, you know. This life in America is rough, man.
Inshallah. So this is a really short story about, there is a long detail, but we don't have enough time to discuss. Almost, if we start, so it's a whole day will be late for that. So, mashallah, I'm very thankful, brother, and for giving me such precious time and for making an interview. So, thank you guys. Thank you for watching this video.
Assalamu alaikum.